Hello, welcome to Lane 447 NSAT. We will start our discussion of poetry. Uh, well, we will have an introduction to poetry first. Uh, what's going on in a poem and why is a poem so important? Uh, I'm waiting, of course, for students to join us. No student yet. Anyway, I'll start by introducing the course and I'll start with a definition of poetry. What is poetry? Of course, you have a course, Introduction to Literature, and poetry should be introduced then and defined for you. But here we will have a sort of a review before we delve in discussion analysis of actual poem, as you can see in the syllabus available in the courses of the department. Well, the subject matter of poetry can cover the intellectually save or the profane, the marginal or society in general. There are two forms of poetry: fixed form, a poem that may be categorized by the pattern of its lines, meter, rhythm, or stanzas. This is the structure of a poem. Starts with sound pattern, phonemes, as we call them in linguistics, vowels and consonant sounds. Then, of course, words, phrases, lines, and the meter. most likely iambic pentameter, 5 feet rhythm. Stanza, the smallest unit of a poem, there is, of course, the sonnet form, lyric form, narrative form. On the other hand, there is also a free form, a poem usually that has neither regular rhyme nor regular meter. Sometimes we call it blank verse or free verse. Eastern, which often uses cadences rather than uniform metrical feet. What is the content of a poem? This is the form of the poem, the subject matter. There's, a love poem, there's different kinds of poems. Love poetry, political poetry, metaphysical poetry, confessional poetry, elegy, poem that reflects on death or solemn themes, also poem of praise and condemnation, proverb, a poem that, in fact, convey wisdom, learning, and aid memory. Pun, playing on words in a humorous or clever way. Epigram, short, witty, concise saying. Can be sarcastic, can be parodic about a person or an idea. Swans sing before they die. It were no bad thing should certain people die before they sing. Well, how to read a poem? Okay? Well, there are a process or procedures to follow when reading poetry. Well, the first thing, of course, is to notice, to look over the poem. How is it organized in the page? How many lines? How many stanzas? Look for punctuation in the poem. Punctuation, of course, tell you where sentences where sentences begin and end. Don't make a full stop at the end of a line if there is no period, comma, colon, semicolon, or dash there. If a passage of a poem is difficult to understand, look for the subject, verb, and complement of each sentence. Look at individual words and what they mean. You can, of course, check them in a dictionary. Read the poem slowly and out loud to help hear the musicality of the poem, or listen to the poem in these days in YouTube, for instance. Most of the poems that we will be studying are available on YouTube, and you can listen to them. You can listen to the rhythm or rhyme and the musicality of the poem. Of course, you need to be patient, for poems can be ambiguous or confusing, ambivalent. You can talk with your classmates, colleagues, others who have read it when possible. Read the poem several times. Be alert for comparisons, for figures of speech, for images created in the poem, and who is speaking in the poem. The speaker, the sound that, or the voice that you hear in the poem. Usually a persona, we call it. We call him or call her or whatever. Of course, when you listen to the poem in YouTube, for instance, well, pay attention to rhyme, internal, approximate rhyme scheme. Roses are red. The S, roses are red. The R, E. Okay? Well, when there's a new word or expression, well, you can check in a dictionary. It can be also a neologism. Words play, divergence, oxymoron, contradiction. Hearing the words, of course, you can hear inversion. For instance, beautiful is she instead of she is beautiful. That's what we call inversion. Assonance. How now brown cow. The vowel, repetition of vowel. How now brown cow. The O and W repeated. This is what we call assonance. Consonance. That's the repetition of sounds. Whose woods these are, I think I know. Whose woods these? S. Okay? The consonant S repeated. This is the internal rhythm of rhyme. Okay? Alliteration. She sells seashells by the seashore. This is alteration, the repetition of the first consonant sound. She sells seashells by the seashore. Also pay attention, listen carefully to onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, sound of a word that in fact imitates the sound of a thing or an object. Snap, crackle, pop, as if you see the word, as if the word, in fact, is similar to the sound. Of course, in poetry, words are important. Diction. There are two important concepts, connotation and denotation. Denotation is the dictionary definition of words, how they are defined in a dictionary. Connotation, what a word suggests beyond the dictionary definition. What does it suggest to you? Take, for instance, the word car. Car, a vehicle for transportation, as defined in dictionary, of the suggestion, what a car suggesting can suggest, well, luxury, transportation, race, accidents, expensive car, regular car, small car, big car, all these are suggestions. Take another word, snake. Definition of denotation of the word, any of numerous scaly, legless, sometimes venomous reptiles, having a long, tapering, cylindrical body and found in most tropical and temperate regions. That's the denotation, dictionary definition, scientific definition of a snake. But what does it connote? What's the connotation? What a snake suggests? Well, evil, danger, death, a lot of possible connotation depending on your own experience of snakes. Well, looking at a poem, first, the lines. And stop. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. Well, at the end of each line there is and stop. This is a poem by Shakespeare. There's another characteristic of a poem, look in the page, enjambment. Let me not to the marriage of true minds. Admit embedment. Love is not love which alters when it all alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. This is from Shakespeare, the images. Okay, here clearly are enjambment. Of course, the definition of enjambment is the continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of the line. or of a line, couplet or stanza. It's the opposite of, end stop. When you listen to the poem, you notice there's no full stop. Let me not to the merge of the minds, admit embedments. Love is not love which alters when its alteration finds or bends with the remover to remove. Flow of language and the sound of the poem. Cadence. This is the drum beat of words. Bum da or da bum da bum. We call this cadence. The drum beat of words. Kajora. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. Dissonance. Are you lamenting because your enjambment is not working in your couplet? Then we come to meter, fixed form, iambic pentameter. Blank verse with 5 feet of iambs. Da, dum, da, dum, da, dum, da, dum, da, dum. But soft. What lies through yonder window? Breaks. Brief verse. Well, refrain. If word is repeated, like in the poem Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, see later on, calls the raven, nevermore, nevermore, nevermore. Synthesia or synthesia, a deafening yellow. Sunburnt mirth, epithet. Swift-footed Achilles, rosy fingered dawn, Ivan the Terrible. These are what we call language of poetry. When we talk about poetry, lines, a single line of poetry, stanza, a group of lines set off from the other lines in a poem, the poetic equivalent of a paragraph in prose. Well, in traditional poems, the stanza usually contains a unit of thought, much like a paragraph. Well, the winged seeds, where they lie cold and low, each like a curve within its grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall flow. Beautiful idea about the spring. The winged seeds in the ground, where they lie cold and low during winter, each like a corpse within its grave, until thine azure sister of the spring shall blow. And of course, well, again, they will live and come out from their hiding or entombment. Punctuation used for emphasis. Structure of images, symbols within the poem. Okay, watch for colors, patterns, figurative language. Sonnet is one major type of poems. Fixed form poems. It consists of 14-line poem with specific rhyme scheme. Shakespeare, a good example. Shakespearean sonnet. A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. 3 quatrains and a couplet. Italian sonnet, Petrarch. A, B, B, A, B, B, A, C, D, C, C, D. Octet, the poem is, sonnet is, in fact, divided into octet, sestet, volta. Okay? The introduction, the question raised, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the sonnets. You will have few sonnets in the beginning of the course that we will discuss. Example of sonnets, Shakespeare's sonnets, 116. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth unknown, although his high be taken. Love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickles canvas some. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never read, nor no man ever loved. Of